Showing up to work is not the job. The job is completing the thing you're being paid to do. That often involves multiple tasks. That often involves having to figure something out. Being expected to do your job well is not having a lot asked of you at work. There are roles and salaries where you are paid to really just sit around and wait to be told what to do. But that is not the average job. That is not what most people are paying you for. And that is not something people are going to pay you even more for. And that is something people are failing to understand. Getting fired from their jobs at alarming rates. And as someone who has hired and worked with a lot of people from Gen Z, there is a clear line between the people who do well and the people who don't. The easiest thing is probably to give real examples, but I do want to preface first that yes, every generation thinks the next generation below them is lazy and bad. And yes, there are a lot of companies getting away with not paying people well. I want to talk about two different Gen Z employees as an example. Both of them were paid well, but I have also noticed that the salary of the Gen Z employee has very little to do with how they perform. Both employees had a weekly meeting with their team. One consistently showed up with information about what was going on. The other usually had to be messaged 5 or 10 minutes into the meeting to make sure they were still coming. Then they would show up and say, sorry, I forgot it was on my calendar. I didn't realize this was mandatory. One employee.
I got to pause it right there because I think this is very nuanced. Because everybody don't have somebody that's worked in corporate before.
Facts.
So some people need more coaching than others.
Absolutely, especially when it comes to just some of the behaviors, the tone, being able to pick up on emotional intelligence is really important. And if it's something you like have to practice. From a younger age, hopefully.
Well, that, and some people may have mentors. So they say, hey, when you come in, this is your 90-day plan. These will look like this, how you're going to get acclimated and get promoted. One person don't have that, so they don't understand. So they're still learning. I put it like this. And now it's being a parent. I know with one child I got to be very specific with, the other child be very broad with. Mm-hmm. This is when you have to actually learn things about the people that you hired versus expecting them to act like everyone else acts, so you can circumvent these different things and not always put the blame on them, because some people are just very different. And we're not even getting into if people have disabilities or other things like that. We're just literally talking about how you actually use your emotional intelligence to deal with your employees.
They noticed an issue in their department, brought it up to their supervisor, had an idea of what to do, tried it. When the idea didn't work, they sat down together and thought about some other things to attempt. The other ran into a technical error that was preventing them from being able to complete something and didn't say anything until they were asked a couple of days later how the work was going.
Now that is going to be on you.
For sure.
You got to say something. If you at all my people who've been in them project management meetings, if you got any impediments, that's when you need to say, hey, I got an impediment. I can't do my work because of this software issue. Call the help desk. That way, if it's not fixed, at least you have documented the last 3 days it's not fixed, and you told your boss, you told all these other people. So after you did all that, it's above you if it's something that's preventing you from doing the work and you can't do it any other way.
Yeah, waiting until they ask you is never a good practice. 10 out of 10.
And then they said, oh, I can't get it done because this wasn't working. Both of them needed access to a certain account, which was available for them to find in their onboarding documents they had. One logged in on day one and was ready to go with the account. One of them was asked about something that they would have been able to do on the account 3 weeks into the job and said, how do I get access to that account? Nothing the first employee did was going above and beyond their job. It was doing their job. Showing up to work is not the job. The job is completing the thing you're being paid to do. That often involves multiple tasks. That often involves having to figure something out. Being expected to do your job well is not having a lot asked of you at work. There are roles and salaries where you are paid to really just sit around and wait to be told what to do. But that is not the average job. That is not what most people are paying you for. And that is not something people are going to pay you even more for. And that is something people are failing to understand.
I'm not mad at them.
Yeah, and I'm not going to relegate just the I don't have access thing to Gen Z. I have a friend. I have a friend that when they were working at this company, they were on like a new account. And he was trying to get access to all these different things. so he could finally get access to do his job. The other guy just sat around because he didn't have access, and he's not Gen Z. That led to that person getting let go because they was like, oh, well, I don't know what to do. And he tried to tell me so many words, bro, you have to let them know I don't have access to this. They're not paying us just to sit around and say we can't access nothing.
Yeah, you definitely have to try to help yourself to some extent. And I think that's having those open lines of communication, being assigned a mentor, having those frequent checkpoints with your leadership as you are a new employee. And then, you know, spacing it out as you get a little bit more acclimated with the company and your position and stuff. But those are things that should be discussed on your weekly or bi-weekly meeting. You know, did you get all your access? No, I'm actually having an issue accessing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever it is.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, a good manager is always going to ask, okay, here's the access list, go through and request access for all these things, keep me up on the progress of what you have access for, and in the meantime, do X, Y, Z. And that's also is like, okay, what do I do while I'm not doing anything? And that's your time when you get to access a little bit, you just get a chance to observe. The key word right here, observation. When you're new, you bring a different, I would say a different set of eyes to an organization where you can see gaps and blind spots that they pretty much don't see because they're used to doing stuff a certain way. So now you start just writing all your different things. Like I did this before. I can literally show it to you like, oh, these are the things that I see right now I would love to change. So now when you start presenting these things, now whether you get to fix them or not, you still look at like a good employee, and it's really not really going above and beyond. It's literally just trying to make them make sure that they made the right choice. Because a lot of companies are not playing anymore with hiring you. They'll spend all the money that they want to spend on the hiring process to find somebody they need, and they'll get you out of there. And a lot of young people are not realizing that at all.